我是资管一甲苏希甫。And today I'm gonna present my economic final video, and it's about some economic cool fact. And I'll just present it in the video. Just take and watch it and enjoy. So I'm gonna start the final video presentation of economics. Fasten your seatbelt, take up your popcorn, and enjoy it. So this is my outline. I'm gonna introduce the broad category of classical schools, introduce the broad category of Canadian schools and their difference, and the COVID-19 impact of the US economics and how the government deal with that problem. So the first one is the classical schools. We all know that classical economics was developed around the time of 18th and 19th century. It is include the theory of value of distribution. In this school of thought, the value associated with a particular product depended on the various costs that was involved in manufacturing the product. The thing to notice was that explanation of the cost was the same as explanation of the distribution. It is said that the work of the likes of Adam Smith and David Ricardo had influenced the school of thought, and the theory was further developed by the work of John Robinson and Edward H. Chamberlain, who introduced the margin revenue curve. Then what's about the Canadian schools? Canadian economics was developed by John Maynard Keynes. It is a British economist whose revolutionary ideas changed the future economics forever. He compelled the government to change their economic politics by viewing the school of thought too. He worked on the caucuses of business. Today is known as the value of the voter. So, right now the Canadian economics rubbish the classical economics. Idea starting to say is that laws correct in the universe. The man's idea says laws, the cost of output, are always covered the aggregate by the sale proceed resulting from demand. When according, Keynes was absolutely incorrect, as according to him it's a law that would be true only if it regressed to LE. And here's some of the difference of these two. The classical school of economics believed during the time of crisis there should be monetary policy or framework to affect the economy, while the views of Canadian economics was just the opposite. They argued that the government should invade the economic during the time of crisis and introduce various type of policies and regulations so as to make it advising the government for making long-term policies. The Keynes was totally, made a short-term duration, so they believe the people that should not save beyond investment that are planned, to which the classicist argues velocitating the internet race, which is just a problem, which is these two. I have just mentioned the first one, primary focus of analysis, and the second one is the effect of fiscal policy, because both Keynesian economics and classical economics, however, they have consensus on one point is that future economics are affected by expectations. So these two are the major difference. And third one is horizon of analytic vision. As one of them mentioned, the Professor Wu, he has mentioned the courses, and that is really important. And I have some of the graphs, but it's not running right now, but I have to say, that is still the same. And about the COVID-19 impact, American Rescue Plan, that passed in March, and the proposed American Jobs Plan. That's the first plan that the Congress had proposed in order to save the American economic. And it's our design to sustain the expansion of the American economic at the same time. So despite May's tepid indication of the future tapering, the Federal Reserve is committed to easy condition to keeping interest rates low. The Fed will maintain excess purchases at least foreseeably and claims it wants inflation to run above its 2% target. Fed Chair Jeremy Powell has said this stance will last as long as it takes for a full recovery. But then, I have to say, there's a fact, and it was really a cool fact that most of the people don't know, which is there's a downward stroke of the X. This represents the nation regulation and trade policy. Has system the outs, and a decade after the global banks are still restrained by Ariel's principle. Their capital and liquidity requirements are high, so they take the risk slow. And this is all my presentation. Thanks for listening.